Hey family, it's Tasha MAMABEAR Prepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel where we just talk about preparedness. We talk about what me and my family do, and hopefully that will give you ideas for you and yours and your emergency preparedness journey. Okay, so today I want to get into, I want to talk about pets for a minute here. We've talked about pets, livestock, different aspects of having a pet, different things to get for pets, the importance of remembering your pets when you're stockpiling and getting things for your preparedness, stockpile. I want to just make sure that we're talking about a few things and some positive and negatives that could happen when it comes to having a pet and being responsible for a pet. So during SHTF, obviously, if you have a pet, you're responsible to take care of that pet, right? So you have dogs, cats, you have, reptiles, whatever it is. And people sometimes will send me messages, hey, I just want to make sure I'm covering all my bases with my pets. What all should I be getting? And so that's what I want to talk about today. So when the first thing I think about with pets is you treat them like yourselves in the sense of, water, food, meds. Like that needs to be the top things that you're thinking about when you think about your pets. How are, ensuring that they have water, you're stockpiling water, and you're ensuring that you're utilizing them and using them in your numbers, your calculations when you're trying to figure out, okay, how many gallons of water for drinking do we have? How long do we expect that to last? And that you are, doing that for your pets. More so 1-2 days this week, whatever. Start really watching and not regulating, watching and recording what your dogs or cats or whatever, really see how much water they're drinking. You might be surprised of how much water they're drinking or not drinking, right? And if they're not drinking, for example, where are they getting their water from? Are they going outside and they're finding a water source and they're getting it from somewhere outside, and that's why you don't see them drinking a lot of water? Or you're watching them and they drink a ton of water, right? And so you need to do that so that you know the calculations and you know how much they're drinking a day, and you get things that are accurate when you're doing your calculations. Okay, so water, food, meds. Food is the same. You want to stack shelf-stable foods. If you can stuff, great. If you can buy stuff, great. Dog food or dog and cat food, if it's dry, will go rancid. You can't keep that for years and years and years, let's say. But you can keep 6 to 12 months, in my opinion, safely. With dry dog and cat food, it's best to just keep it, the way I keep it is keep it in its container because it's already in kind of a fresh, nice packaging, foiled inside, like it's a good hearty package for storing it. And then I store that additionally in totes so that to keep like critters and any kind of insects and other compromising stuff out of it, water or whatever. And then canned food is just like we say, buy canned food because it will last longer and it's shelf stable, right? It will last a much longer on your shelf. Again, just like people food, pop tops are going to go bad sooner than regular open the can with a can opener type. So same aspect. You just need to make sure that you're thinking about your pets when you're thinking about getting your water, food, and your meds. Meds, very important because they're going to start regulating those as of June 1st. So you've got to get into your local pet stores and get your Pet Smart, your Petco, your local veterinary place, whatever it is, and get those over-the-counter meds that you can get now. Get those antibiotics that you can easily get now. Get the lice stuff, the tick stuff. Get the anything of medicinal stuff, right? Creams, stuff for rashes, stuff for bites, stuff for wounds. They fall down, they get hurt, they get scraped up, whatever, right? A medical kit, that's meant for them. Bandages meant for animals, right? Antiseptic, all of that different stuff. Get that stuff for your pets and have it for your pets. All the things that could happen to you medically that you're like, okay, I have a toothache or I have an earache or whatever. Get all of those things that they make for animals, okay? For pets, get those things, okay? Super, super important. From there, I think true SHTF, a situation that has us staying at home for the most part, bugging in, trying to stay safe, and what do I need to make that situation work for my pets and animals? There's questions that have to be answered depending on what the situation is. So you should be pulling out your emergency plans. Okay, if this happens, this is the plan, but how does the pets and make sure that the pets are drawn into that plan, right? If this happens, this is the plan, and the pets are drawn into that plan. Mostly, depending on what it is, are the pets okay being outside still, or do they need to be brought in like 24/7 and they're there with you? Okay. So what is the plan? What could happen in your area? What is it that you plan for, and how do the pets play into that? And then depending on that, depends on a lot of things. If you have animals and you have to bring them in, let's say some bombs start dropping, it's fallout, or it's heavy smoke, or something bad outside and the animals have to be brought in. Well, now they have to go to the bathroom. So how are they going to the bathroom? What is the space that you have, dictated is going to be the space for animals to go to the bathroom in, that you're going to turn into a little poop area. Okay. Is it the garage? Is it a back room? Is it some kind of corner in the bonus room? Is it down in the basement somewhere? Is it, where is this at? Right. What is the space? Maybe it's a mud room. Maybe it's wherever. And then do you have the stuff that you need to be able to make that work? You need some big, heavy plastic. There's lots of options you could do. Okay. So there's, laying down a bunch of plastic. You can lay down the pee pads, kind of depends on how big your dog is, little your dog is. Are they used to those? Are they not used to those? And what can you do? There's some other things, you can bring in that turf, that grass turf, and get some of that. Now that starts to smell after a while, obviously, just like the pee pads and stuff, but obviously pee pads are more disposable. They start to stink, they get too much stuff on them. You could take them and throw them away in the trash, right? And if you're able to go outside still, though, that turf could be an option, and maybe you could take it outside and rinse it. But you just got to think about your situation. How long is the situation? What exactly is going to work? Okay. Because that might not be a good option for you whatsoever. Okay. Maybe it's, you lay down the plastic, you lay down that green area that looks like grass, that makes them feel like they're going outside, but there's still a pee pad down that they're peeing and pooping on predominantly, right? All over that. And if they get a little bit on the grass, okay. But you know what I'm saying? So this is the thought process, though, is if you don't think about these things ahead of time, you don't have the pee pads, you don't have the green thing, you don't have the plastic, you don't have any of this stuff. And before you know it, you're indoors, something has happened, and now your animals have to go, and now you're trying to do finagle weird stuff, or you're letting them poop and pee everywhere, and you're just trying to clean it up, because that is what some people are going to do, because that's the only option that they gave themselves. Okay. The poop bags, the pickup poop bags, right? Having a ton of those. I mean, you should have those already. Possibly if you have a dog that goes out, unless you have property, whatever, you just let it roam, whatever. But even us, we have a big backyard, and so we've got to pick up poop, right? Same thing. Those are a must indoors. You're going to want that so that you can pick up easily and sanitarily pick up poop in the safest, cleanest way that you possibly can. Okay. Different things like gloves, right? All of those things, gloves to handle all that stuff. If you're handling, biohazard all the time, pee pads all the time, much more cleaning up messes often, all that stuff. It's going to be more than normal. You need to make sure that you have the correct PPE to do that. You need to be thinking, where is this getting thrown at? Where are big trash cans with big construction, thick trash bags that you're disposing of this biohazard? Is there lights? Is there power? Is it a situation not only for your pets and having to go to the bathroom indoors, but it's also an issue for you, and there's no running toilets, and you're having to use buckets and get rid of your own waste as well. Where is that going, right? Are you able to go outside or not? It might be reversal where you are able to go outside. It's just a power thing. You're just disposing of your own stuff, and your animals are still allowed to go outside and do their business. So this could go a bunch of different ways, a bunch of different variables that you have to think about and break down as far as what's the situation and what are the individual needs of you, your kids, the infants in the house, the elderly in the house, other people in the house, everybody involved, livestock, pets, all of that. And pets are a big deal. Pets also, when things get really, really nasty, are good and bad, right? Meaning there could be positives and negatives to having a pet. If, let's say, marauders are at your doorstep and you're trying to be, it could be a good thing because the dog alarms that people are around. Maybe that deters people, but maybe it's a bigger group. It doesn't. Maybe you're trying to hide, or your kids know to hide, and now you have a dog, and either the dog is with the kids and is maybe possibly now alerting and barking, and now they're not hidden anymore because now somebody can find them and knows where they're at. Or the opposite, the dog didn't go with them, but is at the door or the cabinet or the secret door, wherever it is that the kid went in at or the family went in at, and the dog is just sitting there, making it known that something's right here, right? So there can be a very big negative thing that can be not very good for you and your family, especially in a situation if you're trying to hide or be quiet in a certain situation and your dog is not trained. I don't know about you, but my dog starts barking. I tell him to stop. Sometimes he stops, sometimes he doesn't. When he does stop, sometimes he's still doing this low in his throat, growl, just to make sure I'm aware something's still happening, right? And so that's important. There is muzzles that you can get, but again, you put that muzzle on and your dog wants to do this low, there could still be some growling and some noise coming out. So it's important that your dog is trained in these situations, not in these situations, because it's not like but you train your dog to listen to you, because it literally could be life or death. Okay. Another thing I think is interesting about pets that I'm already seeing is, I'm seeing the notifications in part of the ring system that all these dogs are being let loose, right? Constantly people are saying, oh, there's a couple dogs in my yard. Oh, there's this dog. Oh, and they're all different types of dogs, right? It's not the same dog, same neighbor's dog letting out. And so what that tells me is either people are letting their dogs go, hoping they'll run away because they can't take care of them, they can't feed them, they can't care for them anymore. And or they're letting them go more freely because they can't feed them, and they're like, look, go out and explore and find food, find water, and they're letting them be more free because, again, they can't afford them. Okay. And as a situation happens, especially anything that has a financial burden on people, say a collapse, any of that crazy stuff, you're going to have people freaking out, and you are going to have people that just let their animals go, abandon their animals. They can't take care of them. They absolutely cannot feed them. They there's not enough water for them. Like, once those resources get tight like that, and a family is having to be concerned about, do they have enough food to feed their family? Do they have enough water to drink? Do they have enough of these resources? They're going to think hard about their animals and make hard decisions. And I get it. People love their animals. People are like, I would never, ever in a million years give up my animal. But you have folks that will. And they absolutely will choose their child over that animal when it comes to that moment. But if you prepare, then that doesn't even have to be really a thought that you think about, because you've prepared, you've thought about what the dog needs, the cat needs, the animals in your house need, and you've prepared for that. You've stockpiled the food, you've stockpiled the extra food. With food too, you need to be thinking of ways that you would feed them after the stuff's gone. What would you grow possibly? What could you make? What could you do possibly to still feed this animal after, the canned foods, the shelf stable foods are gone? What is the next step in making sure that they still have food to eat, right? What else? Let's see. So we talked about hygiene, kind of falls in the whole medicine thing to me. So remembering hygiene when you're at those pet stores, their shampoos, their conditioners, clippers, a clipper set to get them clipped up and cleaned up, and brushes and combs and lice combs and tick combs and lice shampoo, tick shampoo, clippers for their toenails, all of those things that maybe you would take to have the groomer do possibly, or maybe you're doing them yourself now, having your backups, but having that stuff so that you're able to do that stuff yourself to continue to take care of your animal. Okay. So hygiene, food, water, meds. We talked a little bit about security and what that looks like, the ability of people taking care of their animals. At some point too, things go left. Now, fast forward, animals are going to be turning on us. It's going to be a dog eat dog world. And I literally mean that, because everybody and their mother, and this is, you take a catastrophic event and it just keeps going, right? It doesn't end. You're going to have animals that are going to be abandoned, and animals of this world, domestic and otherwise, are going to turn on us because they're going to be trying to eat food and, survive themselves, and they're going to be dangerous. They're going to get dangerous. They're going to go fall into packs, right? And so animals are going to turn on us one day, and you have to be ready for when things go left, that the day of, that dog looks lonely and whatever, and just going up to that dog could not be a good thing for you and your kids. And your kids have to understand kind of the dynamic that's going to change later when it comes to the animals on this planet, and them being just like us in the sense of they're trying to survive, just like we're trying to survive. They have their own babies that they're trying to feed, that they're trying to protect, and they have their own families, if you will, that they're trying to protect, right? Or if they're by themselves or they're on a pack, it's just like the human side. There's going to be marauder groups, right? There's going to be raiding groups. There's going to be family groups, right? And they're just going to be trying to survive. So those days of of dog attacks that happen now, that's going to be a much bigger problem, a much bigger deal. And when you go out, you're going to have to worry about that. And you're going to have to worry about having to defend yourself against that as well. Okay. And possibly not just defending yourself, defending your animals. Say you can go outside. It might be, you might need to be careful, even if you're in a fenced yard, letting your dog or an animal go outside, go to the bathroom, that you need to be watching for predators, meaning other animals, other loose dogs, rabid dogs, feral animals, okay? So it's the other nasty aspect of a SHTF situation when it comes to animals, okay? You could apply all this to livestock as well, but I think that people that have animals, that have livestock, homestead type people, they kind of understand the importance of preparedness, the importance of stockpiling and having a little bit more, because you never know. You go through a hard winter, you go through a hard season, and you don't have something. So I think they're a little bit hardened with, hey, the extras. You also do a lot of your own, they're applying the medicines, they're applying the minerals, they're applying a lot of that stuff. So they're a little bit more savvy as far as taking care of animals, as far as medically, right? Stuff happens to cats and dogs and different domestic animals that you keep in your home. But to me, there's a bigger chance and more things tend to happen to livestock because they are outside in the elements. They're exposed to different things. And so just in general, there's a little bit more experience, I guess you would say, in my opinion, with folks that deal with those livestock type of animals. But you could apply all the stuff we talked about today to both sides. So think this through. Whether you have animals and you need to be thinking about this in preparedness, or you don't have animals and you need to think about it from a defense point of view, right? A defense, protecting your garden, protecting stuff that's outside from animals, from feral animals that are going to be looking for food. You think you have to worry about humans stealing tomatoes? Think about every creature, every insect, every animal, everything ravenous, hungry, starving, trying to eat. They're going to implode onto your garden, right? And so how do you protect that? How do you think about that for the future of having to protect stuff? It's just like the chickens, right? You keep them safe in this so that other animals, other predators can't get it. You almost are going to have to think about that with your garden space and anything that you have that's outside food. Feeding animals outside, you need to be safe, right? Even livestock, right? You have different livestock food out and about. You're going to have to be careful later with other things coming in and eating that food and getting that food. Okay. So just something to think about. I was thinking about pets yesterday, was out getting some stuff and just got my mind thinking about pets and just the good and bad of having a pet and what that can mean and the things you have to get and the things you have to prepare. And that this is an area that sometimes is overlooked or people don't take as serious. They might totally love their pets, but don't quite, maybe they have an extra case of food or they have an extra bag of food or I've got pee pads and they think, okay, they're kind of cool, but they don't think about that in a bigger picture, a bigger SHTF situation. Like if the animal had to start going in the house, it's more than just letting the animal go wherever and then you would just pick it up and clean it up. No, you need to think about where would that space be? Do I have a big piece of plastic? Do I have some pee pads? Do I have pee pads stocked up? 2 pee pads, usually typically, go a couple times, you throw those away. No, you want to make those last. So that needs to be in a room that's kind of sealed, because maybe that pee pad, you want them to use it as much as they possibly can, right? Without making a mess, without getting stuff on them, before you're throwing it out, so that you're really utilizing it. I would love to hear in the comments below all your guys' little tips, tricks, things that you have either bought, purchased, think are going to be a good idea for you and your pets during the SHTF. Anything that you think is going to be beneficial to sharing with the group. We like to get ideas. I learn every single time from stuff in the comments. Some people watch the video and then make sure they read all the comments, because they take notes from the video, but they're taking notes from the comments as well. So stuff you're sharing matters, because there's people out here, I mean, we're all trying to survive. We're all trying to do things the best way that we can, and learn about different ways of doing things, or learn of other products or things that we want to get that will help us and help our quality of life. And in this case, our quality of life with our animals during SHTF, during a catastrophic event as a whole. Okay, so you guys be well, be kind, do everything in love, and I'll see you guys next week on the next video. Take care. Bye.